Okay guys, we're back again out at the site of the missing couple from New York that have been missing for some 44 years. We had drone footage up yesterday. Well, today we can see the investigators were out in full force, and we can kind of see the car here, and they peeled the roof off the car, and they are sifting through all the material that has collected in the car over the years. You know, they tried to pull this car out, and we'll have some more images of some of the parts that have come off the car in just a minute. But when they tried to pull the car out, the car just started to separate. The whole trunk area that they had the tow truck hooked to the rear end of this old Lincoln. Keep in mind, it's been underwater here for 44 years, and they tried to pull it out, and there's so much mud, debris, and then the condition of the car, it just pulled apart. And it's probably going to be a real process when they actually start to fully remove the vehicle from this area. But we can see investigators now. From what we understand, there have been investigators from the federal, state, and local level here at the site. And this is the site of an old Holiday Inn that the roamers had actually checked into. They left the hotel, had gone to dinner, and then disappeared. Well, the evidence here seems to me to point that they probably were just coming back from dinner. They were an older couple and simply lost their way and drove into the pond. Now, things have changed in the area. In 1980, when they went missing, these outbuildings were not part of the area. This was just kind of an open area with a Holiday Inn there. See some of the support vehicles that are there. Now, there's also been some discussion about this second vehicle that's in the pond, and from what we understand, what we've been told, is this was a totally separate incident. They knew about this. This was an impaired driver apparently drove into the retaining pond and was given some leeway about getting the vehicle out. Well, he expired before it happened, and it kind of gotten forgotten about, and the car just sat there. That car really has no bearing on this particular incident, other than they both happened to wind up in the same retention pond. But you can see down in that material, that mud that's in the bottom of this thing, what a horrific task it must be, down on your knees, sifting through this material. You know, there's just no way escaping it. You got to work through this stuff to gather what evidence is in the car. They've managed to construct out of, it looks like pallets and plywood, a walkway where they can gain access to the vehicle. This is the command post that they've set up there. And we're going to show you this, and we'll probably have some more video of this coming up. It seems like they've laid out here parts of the car. Maybe that looks like some trim, maybe a bumper, and then maybe it also looks like there's some maybe some glass over there from a window. We can see next to that stack of pallets is the rear end that came off, and then they have a couple of tarps down with just miscellaneous what appear to be parts of the car. And then also right there at the bottom of the screen, now keep in mind, like I said, that car separated when they tried to pull us out. They got evidence markers that are yellow flags that are all along that area where that rear end and trunk kind of came up onto the bank of the retention pond. Just can't imagine being down in that mud, working in those conditions. But these guys are doing it, and hats off to them. Closure for the family for sure. These guys are doing due diligence and processing the site. And again, it's evidence. Not saying it's evidence of a crime. It may be evidence that they're collecting of an accident that happened back in 1980. Some of the pieces and things that they have collected there kind of laid out on those tarps. And a pretty good indication of those evidence markers there. Some things that they have to process as well. And that is that 1979 Lincoln car. It's really hard to believe that fresh water has done that kind of damage to the car. I know it's been in there 40 years, but wow, it has really, really taken a toll on the car. You know, this car was built back when steel was steel. But they've got the water level certainly down far enough to process the area. And maybe soon they will get this pulled out. We're going to kind of come in here and take a look at those pieces a little closer. They appear to me to be what maybe a bumper and maybe some trim pieces from the vehicle. And then it looks like it's some pieces of auto glass laying there towards the right. Looks like a lot of work has been going into the processing this investigation and collecting everything that they need to collect here from the site. And of course, we know from early reports, they're human remains that were down in the car. And they reported that they had found earlier human bone fragment in the car. So as that process continues, there's talk about jewelry that was missing. Maybe they're finding some of that as well, as they continue to kind of go through the site. Hey, you guys be safe out there.